Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are hopping into our next series, which has already been started. Players got started much faster than we expected, but we're going to be spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map on top of the blue Zerg player. Give it up for the Mexican Cham.
Viva Mexico! And in the top, I don't know where Creature is, or rather this player representing Team Ascension is from, but he is Creature.
I think he's American. I need to double check. I know, like, either America or Canada, but I think it's America. I'm gonna go with that, and someone in the chat can yell at me if I'm totally wrong about that. But yeah, for those who are wondering, Creature is currently sitting up 1-0. We saw an opportunity as soon as we finished that last series of EJK versus Jon Snow, and we were like, hey, Creature's out of game. He's still playing in this. He's playing versus Cham. Let's find out what the score is. And they were like, we're starting game number 2. I'm up 1-0.
Pretty much.
But yeah.
Yeah, they jumped right into it. And so I guess we're just gonna, that's what we do as casters. We got to be on our toes and to be ready for it.
Yeah, man.
So it gets a little bit more tough to follow everything, especially if you don't just pick one person to follow.
Yeah, exactly, because you don't have a lot of that downtime in between matches, or you'd end up having a ton of downtime in between matches. But yeah. This is a cool match to actually check out now, because Cham is one of those players that I would say, I don't mean this as an insult, because Jon Snow is definitely one of my favorite players, but like I kind of feel like he's in some ways a worse version of Jon Snow. He's a player that loves to be really aggressive. He loves to get in his opponent's faces. But he hasn't really found the same level of success that Jon Snow has lately. And this is really cute.
Annoying.
So first of all, cute play from Creature identifying like, hey, you may have gone for like these early Zergans and everything, but they're on the wrong side of the map to actually kill off this pylon. So he plants down a pylon and blocks this. But the third expansion is being taken at the low ground. This is so weird. I like it, actually. I really like it.
I was going to say, it probably is going to be okay, right? Like in this matchup, I would say. Whether if it was, rather if it was ZvT, it could be a little bit more difficult because you can get the siege tank on that high ground.
Oh, yeah.
And the pushes are going to be there a lot sooner, too.
I actually wonder about that. Yeah, like, could this just be, like, regardless of whether you got pylon block or not, could you actually just go for that and then have a really easy to take 4th expansion?
That's what I'm saying. Snoot used to do it all the time, especially on like Vani Research Station.
Yeah.
Some people, I mean, who was Cyril? He wouldn't take his 4th, or rather his natural.
Dude, I think we cast a Peely versus Jon Snow game for like a WCS America qualifier where Jon Snow didn't take his in-base natural until he was like taking a 5th expansion or something. On Vani Research Station, yeah.
And it works out for the most part. So, I think it might just have been a 100 mineral investment here for Creature. Didn't really get too much out of it because Cham was unfazed. He's just like, nah, man.
Well, the Phoenix is the nice thing about the Stargate opening for Creature, whether he realizes it or not. He does see the low ground 3rd expansion, so he knows that weird expansion location has been taken. And one really common follow-up to the Phoenix opening for a lot of pros players is you just go straight into mass adept pressure. And you combine the Adepts with the Phoenixes, and you can do a lot of damage, and the Phoenixes pick up Ravagers, they pick up Roaches or Queens, and the Adepts just clean up. Yeah, like, I wonder if that's going to be the case. He looks like he's setting up that 3rd expansion. You can still kind of go for that pressure, but the Phoenixes will also be nice to identify, like, when the 4th expansion gets taken, because that's not a normal situation, right, where Protoss player is going to have trouble scouting out the 4th because it's so tucked in a way.
He has to, like, dive in with the Phoenixes in order to confirm it.
Yeah.
So, what I've also seen a lot is a ridiculous amount of Phoenixes come out, but this seems to be one of the more common transitions here. Double Robo right after it. Secure the 3rd base, and then you start making a lot of Immortals, put down the Twilight Council, as well as getting that charge upgrade for the Zealots. And then after the Twilight's done, you just, get the High Templar. Make that nice composition that can deal with Lurkers pretty well, as long as you keep up with those upgrades, which it does seem like is going to be the case here for Creature.
Yeah, I could definitely see that working. Well, Hydrals are going to be coming out over here for Cham, so he's going to be getting ready to deal with not only the Phoenixes, but just having that raw DPS that can help out quite a bit. Probably, I imagine, going to be throwing down a Roach Horn at some point. There we go. There's the Roach Horn. Really well timed.
Yep. And he has not got an upgrade from the Hydra Den yet. He's focusing on getting the units up. Whoa, whoa. Hydras are going to take out one of the Phoenixes there. And then Cham is like, you know what? Hydras, you know, you're going to get yourself a nice raise here. And the promotion to be able to have that +1 range, as well as that movement speed.
Yep. Phoenix is still trying to put on a little bit of that pressure. But in the meanwhile, yeah, as you were saying, it's a double immortal being made for Creature. He's just trying to do get a little bit of map presence with those Phoenixes, but he's not really overcommitting to them. This is one of those things that it's very typical for Protoss players to do these days, where you get out a couple of Phoenixes and you just try to keep them alive, because having 4 to 5 Phoenix means that if your opponent goes for a surprise muta transition later on in the game, you just have the preparation there. And of course, you get that nice map control, or at least vision of the map.
Its map vision is so important. You're able to pick off drones every once in a while, and I think one of the greatest things is the overlords. You know, you're denying vision from the Zerg at the same time, and you're able to scout. So they have a really nice purpose, by the way, as long as you don't lose them all. I mean, I know he lost one of them, but...
Well, Phoenix is still moving around, and yeah, getting other scouting information off. If he can actually find that Hydralisk Den, which I believe is tucked in, in the main base, makes it a little bit harder to get a scout out on that. But that can also be really important about finding out that lurker timing. And speaking of lurkers,
exactly, that's what you want to find.
Yeah, Phoenixes can be good for lifting up those lurkers. Hydralisk trying to catch them, but not quite able to, despite muscular augments helping him out. But this could be the really big pressure play that Creature has to be careful of. He does have a decent number of these Zealots. Charge is not going to be finished up, though, and that makes it a lot more difficult to actually defend with those Zealots.
Oh yeah. I mean, the Hydras are going to be right on top. I don't know. We should see some Ravages, right? Oh yeah, here they come. And it's going to be just a straight up Roach Ravager Hydra composition here. I don't know what upgrades they have. They have 0-0. It's going to be sheer brute force with the army. And here comes some corrosive biles, but he's positioning, he's just buying time.
Oh, this is a kind of interesting time warp. It is going to delay things from moving in. Oh, Mothership Cord actually does get picked off as well.
No.
Fortune Overcharge is going to be wearing off very soon. These Zealots not in a great position to get into the fight. And I actually really don't like Creature's situation.
No, Cham is getting right on top of this army. Oh, he kind of let himself get backed into a corner. This is a terrible position for Creature.
Oh, even with all of these Immortals, these power units, it's going to be kind of a difficult hold. He's warping in more stuff. These Immortals are still doing some serious damage with the Ravagers. Throwing down the Corsair Bile on top of them. I think that he's going to be able to maybe win out over here if he has reinforcements coming, but the reinforcements feel really far behind.
Yep. I mean, he's trying his best here to finish it off, and I think he might be successful. Cham, down by 1 already, looking to even up the series. The Probos, that is the kind of issue that you face when you put it there right on the front line. Yeah, you get your Immortals out there faster, but when that happens, no more Immortals for you. And that's basically one of the main units that are keeping him alive. Oh, yeah. Creature, he taps out.
GG. Series going to be tied up 1-1 as Cham puts his name on the board.
That was a beautifully timed attack too, because it was right before he was able to get out the Archons with it as well. And Charge, you said, right? What was it, halfway or so done?
Yeah, Charge was like maybe a fourth of the way to halfway done.
Oh, man.
Definitely not an ideal situation.
Yep. Didn't have Charge, and then he like backs into the corner like, all right, as soon as I get Charge, everything's gonna be all right. But nah, man. You let that Zerg army get a concave like that, especially when it's Roach Hydra. The only reason Roach Hydra was like sometimes ineffective against Zerg was because of like force fields, but we haven't seen like any sentries being made.
Yeah, forgive, by the way, guys, it says Cham versus Jon Snow down there. Forgive me on that. I think the programs that I use, and these are not like someone else's programs, I can only have myself to blame. But I wrote like a script that actually updates a lot of that information from updating in like one location. And it's broken right now, so I need to take a look at that.
And
so
that is broken.
It is not Cham versus Jon Snow, it's Cham versus Creature. And we're going to be hopping into game number 3, ace match, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you guys on Orbital Shipyard. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're here in the ace match. It's tied up 1-1 as we spawn up here in the top right-hand corner of the map on top of the red Protoss player from Team Ascension. Give it up for Creature.
And on the other side of Orbital Shipyard, it is Ordo Equitis, I think. Representing Mexico, it is Cham. It's a Latin name that I don't know how to pronounce correctly. And he's from Latin America, so hey.
There we go.
I guess it makes a lot of sense now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's called Latin America because they all speak Latin down there.
Exactly.
Wouldn't that be great? There was just, Spanish or anything like that. It was just like everyone spoke Latin down there.
I feel like it would be some crazy, well, not crazy, but like some secluded resort or something, where it's like everybody that went to school and learned Latin, and we're like, damn, nobody speaks this in the world anymore. We need to like form this community where we only speak Latin. But somebody was telling me actually that learning Latin was good for like if you do.
Like it's good for like prefixes and like suffixes and just understanding English language. Like you can understand a lot of English words without knowing them beforehand, just by using like knowledge of basic Latin.
Yeah.
Speaking of Latin, in this game of StarCraft, we have Cham going up to those 3 bases, but he's finally taking like the more normal in-base natural expansion. He's not getting pylon blocked or anything crazy like that, although Creature suffering some health point hits on that probe. Definitely tried to go for some blocks.
Yeah, and it delayed it for just a little bit in case it were to be that hatch, or 3 hatch before pool, rather. Not going to be the case, though. Cham playing it a bit safer, I would say. And Creature, we saw that he did like to do the more standard Protoss style. Like, there was no real crazy all-in. There was no DTs or anything. Wasn't even an Oracle opener in order to try to, like, get some damage that way. It was just kind of like a very solid macro Protoss style that didn't really have any gimmicks to it, I would say. Just kind of got caught right before everything came together.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment of how things ended up going. We do have a Stargate coming out once again from Creature. Interesting if he's going to go for that Phoenix style again that a lot of pros players like. And I mean, if it worked in game number 2, why not go for it again? That Stargate into double Robo... Or sorry, not game number 2. I guess it didn't work in game number 2. Yeah,
I wonder how we played in game number 1.
Yeah, I was like,
we missed game
you just reminded me. We didn't see game number. I was having one of those moments as a caster where I was like, did I just forget a game I just watched? Oh my god, I'm like forgetting something that happened 10 minutes ago. I'm like, thank you, Tempo, for saving me. No, we didn't get to see game number 1.
Got your back, bruh.
Yeah. For those who are wondering, like, of course, this is just an open bracket thing. Anyone can sign up, and all the matches are happening at the same time. So as soon as we finish up our other series of EJK versus Jon Snow, we just hop straight into this. And they were already finished up with game number 1. So we hopped into game number 2.
I'm really happy we're able to.
Yeah. We do have Roach Warden going down. 3rd expansion going down over here for Creature as well. That does get fully scouted out by Cham. And he has a couple of these Zorglings. They can be at least a little bit annoying. These Adepts should be able to handle it, but... Oh, there's no Mothership Core.
Oh! And now he realizes that as soon as you said it.
Ooh, that's actually really nice. I wonder if Cham realizes it. He's just like, I killed off your pylon. Why didn't you have a Mothership Core killing my stuff?
Yeah.
Like, are you...
I know a lot of the times, don't Protoss tend to skip the Mothership Core when they go Stargate, but, like, I think they make it right after, usually, right? Like, you don't want to take your 3rd without a Mothership Core. Usually.
I'm almost positive it was a mistake. It may have been one of those situations where you try and go for the faster Stargate to get out those early Phoenixes, and you end up cutting that Mothership Core for a little bit of time, but it may have been one of those situations where he just kind of forgot that he's forwent the Mothership Core for a little bit.
Snap.
Yeah, it was just like, oh shoot, I need to get this. I need to defend my 3rd. Luckily, he didn't end up... If he was facing up against like a giant Speedling all-in, if he was playing versus Jon Snow... He probably would have lost.
Or Fat Cat Chef.
or Fat Cat Chef. Yeah, Fat Cat Chef would have been all over that.
Yep. Adepts do pretty well, of course, but yeah. You do want to have that support from the Mothership Core, and the fact that he opened up with the Phoenixes would have meant that he doesn't have the Oracle, which can clean up Infinity Lings.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so, yeah. We did have the Hydros Den.
He was able to dodge the bullet there.
Yeah, Hydros Den finishing up relatively early on over here for Cham, as this has been a pretty passive game. Even the Phoenixes, I would say, they've done a little bit of damage. They've cleaned up some of these overloads. I think we have, what, 1, 2, 3 kills? Yeah, 3 kills on these Phoenixes so far. A couple overlords now.
Getting some drones at the same time.
Yeah.
So.
But honestly, I'd say that Creature hasn't really interfered with Cham's economy all that much this game in comparison to at least the last game, I would say. The Phoenixes seemed actually pretty effective last game.
Yep, they were really annoying. Cleared out, excuse me, a lot of the overlords on the map. But we're seeing the same exact style coming out of Creature. So let's hope that he's able to get out his crucial tech if he's going to be going for that in time. Or he's just going to have a better time defending here on Orbital Shipyard.
I think
I
that
feel like Dust Towers and Orbital Shipyard are similar to defend, but...
Yeah, I think that his charge upgrade is definitely starting up a little bit earlier. He is starting at that charge before the first 2 Immortals even end up popping, which is definitely earlier than he did last time. And, you know, this time, I think Charge will actually be able to finish up before Cham goes for any kind of aggression. He's making that giant round of units and everything, but he's still got to move all the way across the map. Creature should be able to chrono boost it out.
I think this is like a 3-base all-in. Like, it sounds really dumb, but... He doesn't make Evo Chambers. It's not like he has like an Infestation Pit and is going to transition to like, I mean, you don't really see Vipers with it as much, or even making a Lurker Den with the attack. He basically just makes a bunch of Roaches and the Hydras, and then a few Ravagers, of course, and just pushes with it.
Yeah.
I literally think it's a 3-base all-in out of Cham, because if you don't actually kill the Protoss here, you're going to fall behind in tech, or rather, you're going to fall behind in upgrades, and then you just... are probably going to die to the counterattack or
yeah,
not really be able to finish the game out, and you're just really far behind when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The Phoenixes did scout the Roaches and Hydras moving across the map. Charge, as I said, is going to finish this time. That's a really, really, really nice thing to have. Because you have to remember, a lot of the problem with that last engagement, and they actually kind of got a little bit close, but part of the problem was that the Zealots were doing this slow moving through. They weren't even actually at the front of the army. So they had a really, really hard time getting on top of the Roaches and Hydralis.
And it's very important that he has Archons here, too. They're going to soak up damage. They're going to be able to do some splash damage, too. And +2 might even finish.
Oh.
It's a lot more space to work with here.
Yeah, still got to hold on another 20 seconds for +2 weapons. Phoenix is trying to come in, maybe trying to lift up some units.
Dragon.
Oh, it's still a little bit difficult over here. All the Zealots have been cleaned up. The Immortal's still wailing away, though, and this DPS may just barely be enough with some reinforcements to hold this off.
Yeah, I think he's going to be able to have a lot more success this time. He might not hold, but it is looking so much better than the last time. He's finishing up a lot of those Hydras. They're all done. The Phoenixes are going to be able to use all of their energy in order to take it out, and I think he's going to hold. This is so much better than the last time. Creature looking like he's adapted to the kind of style that Cham was trying to throw at him 2 games in a row.
Yeah, not only that, but you just mentioned, right as the push ends, +2 weapons finishes up, Creature is going to be sitting up 2 full weapon upgrades over Cham, who doesn't even have, as you said, an Evolution Chamber thrown down. If +3 weapons start for Creature before the Evolution Chambers even finish, that's a little bit insane.
Well, it's going to be up to this attack. The 4th base is going to be taking here out of Creature. And Cham, he's going to be droning up. He's going to take a 4th base as well. So now you see he's playing from behind. And even though he's not, quote-unquote, dead, the fact that I said, or the reason why I said that it was a 3-base all-in is because, like, where does he go from here? Everything seems kind of awkward. He just has a bunch of units that are just not that well upgraded.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the situation where he has a Hydralis and he doesn't have a Lurker Den. He's going to be up against Storm. He doesn't have any upgrades. His 4th expansion came down later than the Protoss' 4th expansion. Protoss just
that's always awkward.
Like, even, and you have to remember, a lot of the units that stayed alive for Creature over here were the Immortals. He at least kept, like, half or, like, 3 or 4 of the Immortals alive at the end of the engagement, even though he ended up losing all of his Zealots and even some of the Archons. He keeps the Immortals alive, and those are going to be the big power units that, by the way, going to have +3 weapons at some point before +1 armor is finished for Cham.
Yeah, and the usual follow-up out of Zerg here would be the Lurker. So you do a big attack like that, and then the second attack will have Lurkers with it, and then Protoss has a little bit more of a difficult time trying to defend against it. But this is just going to be like Roach Hydra wave number 2, +0/+0, you know? And now he starts the Lurker Den.
Yeah, it might be a little too late, as Storm and this army is all well-positioned. Zealot's not exactly at the front, so not entirely ideal, but here we go. Creature zoning out this army a little bit with some of those Storms. Got to be a little bit conservative with those. Make sure you get some good ones, but This Immortal army is going to be able to just do so much damage.
They're going to dish out tons of damage, and even having that AoE is going to be so good, forcing Cham to move on back. The Storms are kind of whiffing, though, but that's a hell of a lot of Immortals.
Oh, man. Immortals are trying to get focused right now, but even the Zealots just getting on top of these
doesn't even
Hydras,
matter.
it is not even close, Tempo.
No, this is an absolute slaughter, and Creature is going to hop on top of all of these Roaches and Hydras, and this might actually send Cham out of the tournament because these Hydras and Roaches are they just can't compete. Not with this Protoss army.
No, War Prism is getting started. Creature is continuing to push across the map, and Cham, surprisingly enough, I guess just because Roaches are so supply inefficient, he's getting his army supply up there once again, only sitting 30 supply behind after that engagement, but Creature, I feel like
he needs I think Creature, yeah, he's playing too passive here. He doesn't want to let the Lurkers get out because that'll allow Cham to chill back for a bit. But there's enough Immortals out that could take out a pretty good amount of Lurkers.
Is there? I don't think there's an Observer out right now for Creature.
There's no Observer.
Oh
no.
my god. Okay, well, the Oracle's coming out. Oracle's definitely something that you, in a lot of situations, will prefer over the Observer, just because you can throw it on Revelation, you don't have to worry about losing it. But at the same time, I'm really worried that something's going to happen where Creature gets in a situation where he's up against, say, 8 Lurkers that are burrowed. He loses his detection or doesn't keep his Oracle alive long enough to throw down the Revelation. And just this game gets delayed, and Cham brings himself back into this.
Yep. No, that's a realistic possibility, only because it is it's very hard sometimes when the Lurkers do come out and you don't engage them correctly. You lose your Observer, you don't realize it. But this is what he needs to do. Using the Warp Prism to distract Cham. And if he did this before, too, I feel like he would be a lot more comfortable pushing in for the win. I would love if he were to go to the 4th base at the same time while he does this kind of harass, but
Yeah.
it's still doing pretty well. I mean, oh my god, yeah.
Zerglings get obliterated by an Archon and some Psystorms. Roaches not being so much more effective. Lurkers on the defensive is never a situation you want to be in as a Zerg player.
No. I mean, he's able to deal with it now, but how many workers did he lose? Not too many. It looked like 14, which is a pretty decent amount, I would say. But that's also from before. Remember, the Phoenixes were doing what they were doing with the lifting and all that.
Yeah, I mean, he still is sitting up at like 70-some drones, now
and he
losing a
still
couple.
doesn't have upgrades, though. He's going to just try to deal with this. And, yeah, Lurkers are pretty good, Fear Dragon, but...
I wonder if it's one of those situations where, like, Cham normally goes to the evolution chambers, but he just, I guess, forewent them because he was going for that aggression. But he normally has them hotkeyed or something, so he's just normally queuing them up through his hotkey. But because he doesn't actually have them made this game, he's just never gonna remember because he's like, oh well, I mean, my hotkeys aren't there for it, so
he needs to put that Observer on a hotkey. He cannot like fly it forward into a Spore Crawler. That would be embarrassing. But the Lurker Den is gonna go down. This army is ridiculous, but on the other side, it looks like it's going to be a gigantic Lurker attack to the 4th base of Creature, but it is getting obliterated by DTs. But there's no detection here, so it's kind of awkward where the DTs are like, I see it, but I can't do anything. And the Lurkers are like, I'm shooting, but...
Well, that DT has his work cut out for him. Got to kill off a lot of those Lurkers, but at the same time...
there's one now. With the Oracle.
Yeah.
Cham is in trouble.
I think Creature's got this, right? He's almost still maxed out. Overlord's going down to this map. Look at how many Archons there are. Look at how many Immortals there are. Even if Cham somehow turns this into a base trade, how does he ever compete with this? He's base trading with Lurkers, Tempo. I mean, we talk about, yes, Immortals are not exactly the most mobile units, but in comparison to Lurkers...
Nah, just unupgraded Lurkers at that.
Unupgraded
This is
Lurkers.
just this army is. How many Immortals is that? He's up to 12 Immortals. Truly never die, as he doesn't go and take that victory.
Jon Snow is not the victor over here. I forgot that I had my script broken.
Oh, true. Whoops.
But yes, we are gonna have, of course, our hero Creature advance on with a 2-1 victory in the series.
Wow.
Very
Solid
nice
Protoss play.
Yeah, man.
No gimmicks, really. There was, I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah, it was just straight up, it was just straightforward, like, defense, and then snowballing from there. And I was a little bit worried, again, that Creature was going to sit a little bit too passively. He was going to let Cham bring himself back into the game, but that didn't end up happening, thankfully, for Creature. And it's not because, you know, I'm super biased against Cham. I have some vendetta against him. It's nothing like that. It's just the fact that, you know...
Oh, it totally is. I mean, I don't know what it is he did to you, man.
Clearly, man. Yeah, I mean, he
shoved you in a locker in high school or something, and you're getting back at him now, or what?
Dude, I'm pretty sure I'm much older than Cham. Like, I'm far older than Cham.
This is true.
But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hop to a short little break as we find our next series. You guys are watching the Chairs4Gaming North American Cup #1. I want to remind you guys, Chairs4Gaming, of course, sponsoring all of this. So if you guys do want to check them out, go to their site, use the promo code BaseTradeTV. You'll get, I think, $20 off on your chair, as well as free shipping and handling, which is, I think, can come out to be somewhere between $30 to like $70 sometimes for those chairs. So that's a really, really good deal. We'll be back in a little bit, guys. Don't go anywhere.